با درود خدمت دوستان گرامی، من فرهاد کاشانی هستم و برای اون عده از دوستانی که می‌خواستم ببینن تو امریکا رشته پزشکی رو چجوری میشه خوند، چجوری میشه تخصص گرفت، چجوری میشه مدارج بالاتر رفت، ویدیویی که اینجا می‌بینید یک خانم دکتر ایرانی از دوستان ما تهیه کردن به زبان انگلیسی، چون ایشون اصلا اصطلاحا رو به زبان فارسی نمیدونه و در واقع شما اگه بخواید اینجا درس بخونید باید اینو انگلیسیتون انقدر خوب باشه که حرفای ایشونو بفهمید. اگه متوجه نمیشید معلومه که یا باید برید کلاس انگلیسی یا اینکه اصلا همین رو به رشته رو به زبان فارسی دنبال کنید. این شما و این هم ویدیوی خانم دکتر متخصص مغز و اعصاب.
So if someone chooses to pursue a medical degree, you will be preparing for this from your undergraduate education. Now, when you start your undergrad and contemplate a major, know that you can major in anything you like, from the sciences to the arts, as long as you fulfill the prerequisite courses required to apply to medical school. These courses include 1 year of chemistry with its corresponding laboratory session, 1 year of organic chemistry with its laboratory session, 1 year of biology with its laboratory session, 1 year of physics with its laboratory session, 1 year of biochemistry, and 1 year of English. 1 semester of biochemistry and 1 year of English. Then you must take the medical college admissions test, the MCAT, to pursue medical school. The MCAT is 4 sections covering all the prerequisite courses above. The 4 sections are biology, chemistry and physics in 1, English, and sociology, psychology in 1. So, although sociology and psychology are not required coursework for applying to medical school, I highly encourage taking the courses to prepare for your MCAT. Once you pass the MCAT, you may not void your exam. There are some exams out there similar to the MCAT for graduate education, such as the GRE, where you are able to void an exam score that you do not like. However, the MCAT does not work this way. If you pass, you must keep your score, whether you like it or you don't. You can retake the exam, however, as many times as you like. It's not encouraged to take it too many times. But most medical schools today will take the best score out of each of the 4 sections you take and sum those scores up for a total score of the average of all the exams you take. Extracurriculars do matter as well during your undergraduate education. These include volunteering, research, education, and leadership. Volunteering, many students decide to volunteer in hospitals, either local ones close by, or if your undergraduate program has a hospital link to it, you can volunteer likely at that hospital. Leadership opportunities involving medical organizations or non-medical organizations are encouraged to show you are well-rounded and can kind of juggle both coursework and leadership opportunities. Research is always favored, but it's not detrimental if you do not pursue research. And then lastly, education such as tutoring, becoming an undergraduate assistant is very helpful as well. Now, when you're pursuing med school, there's 2 paths people usually discuss, the traditional and non-traditional path. Historically, the traditional path was going straight to medical school from your undergraduate education, meaning that you would take the MCAT exam during your 3rd year of your undergraduate education so that all your scores are ready to go and you are able to transition to medical school by the next year after graduation. The non-traditional path, which is slowly becoming the new traditional path, is where students decide to take gap years, 1 to however many, between their undergraduate education and medical school. If a student decides to take a gap year or gap years, they must do something meaningful to their future career in medical school, such as volunteering abroad potentially, pursuing a healthcare job such as a research coordinator, a medical scribe, a technician, or being involved with research. And there are many other things you could do as well. But as long as you are doing something meaningful during those gap years, it is important to say and prove that you are when applying to medical school. Recent average acceptance rate per medical school that I found being 7%. But if you are one of the lucky students who gets into medical school, you are set for 4 years. Traditionally, the first 2 years of medical school are your preclinical years, and the second 2 years are your clinical years. During your preclinical years, you will be covering each organ system. And for example, if you are covering the cardiovascular system, you will first be taught all the normal functions of the cardiovascular system and its physiology. And then you will learn the abnormal pathologies within that system. These blocks tend to be about 1 to 2 months long. If you apply and are accepted to an osteopathic medical school, you will not only learn all the organ systems, but you will obtain an additional 250 hours in osteopathic manipulation therapy training. At the end of your second year of medical school, you will be taking your first board exam, also known as the United States Medical Licensing Exam. This is a 3-part licensing exam that you will be taking throughout medical school and your first year of residency in order to obtain your medical license. The first out of the 3 is a pass-fail score. Quite different from your 4th year. The 3rd year of medical school, you will no longer be in the classroom. You will be covering rotations, also known as your core rotations, in hospitals and other clinical settings like private practices. These core rotations are about 1 month long each, and they cover family medicine, internal medicine, emergency medicine, surgery, OBGYN, pediatrics, psychiatry, neurology in some programs, and electives. At the end of your 3rd year, you will be taking your second USMLE exam. This will be a numerical score. Also, towards the end of your 3rd year, you will be applying for sub-internship and audition rotations. Sub-internship and audition are interchangeable. These audition rotations begin at the beginning of your 4th year. Your 4th year, you will start with some sub-internship rotations. The average a student takes is 3, and these are rotations in the specialty of your interest. You are completing these rotations in hopes that you audition for a spot in their residency program if you enjoy your time there and if they see you feel fit for their program. After you complete your sub-internship rotations, you will complete your 4th year with elective rotations, and some programs will require 1 rotation in primary care prior to graduating. During your 4th year, you will also be applying to residency. This application process typically begins around September, and you will complete residency interviews from October to January. Now, the match is a very complicated process. The match is a process where medical students are matched with a residency program to train at for the following X amount of years. How you participate in the match is once you complete all your interviews for the residency programs that you applied for, you will rank the programs you interviewed at in the order of preference. The deadline to submit your rank order list is early March, and by mid-March, you will be notified if you have matched with a residency program or not. If you do, you will find out which residency program you match at about 1 week later. If you do not match, you must enter the Supplementary Offer and Acceptance Program. This program is a week-long process from the moment you are notified that you did not match to the day that most students will find out where they matched, where you will have the opportunity to scramble for a residency position at any program in any specialty in any state of the country. Some students will be fortunate enough to find and scramble for a position in the specialty that they were interested in the first place. It may have not been the program they wanted, it may have not been the state they wanted, but they are still able to obtain the position. Some students will actually find a different residency specialty and completely change their career paths during this time. During this time, this 1 week process, you will be interviewing fast for a potential spot in residency. And if you are accepted to a program, you have matched. And by the next week, when everybody else who already was matched to begin with will find out when they match, you will find out at the same time. Now, unfortunately, some individuals who participate in the Supplementary Offer and Acceptance Program, otherwise known as the SOAP, will still not match. And in this instance, you will have to take a gap year between your medical school and residency reapplication. This year could be taken off to pursue research opportunities, or you may apply to a transitional year before reapplying to residency. The transitional year is just 1 year, and you will be rotating in every of the core specialties once again, but this time as a resident before you reapply. Now, during medical school, just some extracurriculars once again. You are encouraged to participate in leadership opportunities, whether it is at your own medical program or a national leadership position, typically in the specialty that you're applying to, participating in volunteering, being a part of the honor society, participating in research, and maintaining your hobbies, because residencies do actually care about your hobbies. The average medical school tuition is about $50,000 to $60,000, I would say, per year, with the average being about $215,000 for each student considering tuition alone, but can go up to $450,000 if a student is taking the full loan amount to pay for other lifestyle costs. Residency will depend on your specialty. Typically, it ranges from 3 to 6 years of residency, as you see in the chart below. And after your first year of residency, you will take your third and final USMLE exam. And this, once again, is a numerical score. However, the numerical score does not contribute much to any further endeavors in your medical education, and the concern with most residents is just to pass the final exam. All residencies have graduated levels of responsibilities where residents become more independent and responsible with each year of their training, as well as leading the junior residents as they graduate up through their training. The goal of residency is essentially to be confident and independent within your specialty. And by the start of your second year of residency, you will begin mock specialty board exams. So by the last year of residency, you are fully prepared to take your specialty board exam and be board certified in your specialty. Now, extracurriculars during residency typically include research, which is actually integrated in most residency program curricula, but some residencies also encourage volunteering. You will also be participating in medical education, teaching medical students either in their medical school program tied to that residency, or teaching medical students who are rotating in your residency during their sub-internship or audition rotations, and also being involved in your hobbies, as residency programs today are becoming much more aware of resident well-being and burnout. Moonlighting is another option for some residency programs, not all, whereby your second or third year of residency, you will be able to moonlight, meaning work extra hours either at your own hospital or a close by hospital to make extra money now that you are technically a licensed physician, but not board certified in your specialty. And I have listed the breakdown of the average compensation by year in residency below, with some specialties being higher than others, and also some states providing a higher salary than others as well. Now, a fellowship can take 1 to 3 years post your residency training, and this is completely optional, but they are intended for those who are interested in pursuing a subspecialty. You are also able to do multiple fellowships, and some actually build on each other. For example, you can be a neurology resident who pursues a stroke fellowship. And if you want to take it one step further, you can then follow it with an interventional neurology fellowship. Some people want to change their fellowships and pursue other ones. So a neurology resident, once again, can pursue a neurophysiology fellowship, but then decide they want to do neuromuscular medicine. These fellowships typically are about a year long. Now, some specialties are also more popular than others to pursue fellowships because some careers are strictly based off of a fellowship. For example, all of the internal medicine subspecialties must be completed via a fellowship. If you want to be a cardiologist, a gastroenterologist, an immunologist, a nephrologist, infectious disease doctor, the list goes on, you must complete a fellowship after your internal medicine training to pursue these specialties. Fellowships can also go beyond your specialty. You don't necessarily have to become a subspecialist within your own specialty. You could get a medical education fellowship and be certified essentially in becoming a professor of medical education and being more involved in academia. You could pursue medical ethics fellowships and become a part of the ethics committee at a hospital. And you can also pursue integrative and functional medicine fellowships to add a different perspective essentially to your medical practice. Again, this is all optional and just more popular in some specialties than others. But if you do not pursue a fellowship, you can be considered as a generalist in your specialty. For example, you will be considered as an internal medicine physician. You will be considered as a general neurologist, a general otolaryngologist or ENT, and a general orthopedic surgeon. These are all just examples. Lastly, when you are all complete, you are known as an attending physician. Congratulations. And from here, you will seek job opportunities essentially. You could work in a hospital system, you can work in academia, private practice, etc. I hope this was helpful, and I'm excited for anyone who would like to pursue a medical education.